Let's make some chili, the best chili that you ever taste in your life. This is how you make the most delicious chili dish you will ever taste in your life. And the only disclaimer that I have is that I'm giving you a 2-in-1 special. I'm also going to show you how to make my honey butter cornbread recipe. So stay tuned and don't forget to tune in completely so that you can make this very special dish. The first thing you need to do is prep your onions, garlic, and poblano peppers. If you have bell peppers, that's fine. I'm only using green bell pepper, and that's okay. But if you want to throw in tricolor bell peppers, your yellow, your orange, or your red, that is completely fine as well. We are going to do a rough chop, nothing too special here, because once I throw them inside of the pot with everything else, it's going to just cook and just mellow itself out in the dish. So I'm slicing my onions down. I'm using one whole onion. I'm slicing it down and then I'm going to roughly chop it. They all don't need to be the same size. It's okay. When you're making chili, your mise en place, meaning your prepped vegetables, is key to your flavor building. So keep that in mind. If you don't like vegetables, you can always go ahead and blend them. That is an option. Once you chop this, just go ahead and put it inside of a container and put it to the side. It's okay if you combine your onions and your bell peppers. Your garlic can go in there as well. I mean, why not if you're trying to save time on dishes, right? Saving time on dishes never hurt anybody. Trust me, I don't think I've heard that before. But guys, let me tell you, it was so cold today. When I tell you it was cold today, I know this is like the ideal dish for a very cold day. It's either you could eat it with rice or you could eat it with crackers. Some people do it with tortilla chips, or you could just do this honey butter, not honey butter, but honey butter cornbread. Honey butter cornbread. I am doing this right after I ate my cornbread and the chili, and when I tell you I am completely full, completely full. So do you guys prefer the poblano pepper or just the regular green bell pepper? For me, I like the fact that the poblano pepper is greener and I feel like it holds its texture longer than the regular bell pepper does. But guys, for my meat, I am using ground lamb and 1 pound of beef. I'm doing 80-20 for my ratio with lean meat versus fat, and I am tossing everything inside of the pot. I added some avocado oil at the bottom so it doesn't stick too much, and I am going to season with some Himalayan salt, garlic powder, chicken seasoning. It's this seasoning that I get in the international aisle. You can find it in the section that you find a Jamaican seasoning in, but we're going to use that along with chili powder, paprika, cayenne pepper, some ground seasoning like oregano, cumin. Yeah. I also put in some ginger just to spark up the flavor. And once I get done with seasoning, I also added a little bit of red pepper flakes. Grab a spoon and mash up the meat while you're working in the seasoning. And this part right here, you just need to keep doing it. If you want to just sit there and do it until you see the meat partially cooked, that is fine. Or you could just, if you want clumps in your chili, some people like it like that. Some people like for the meat to be mostly minced out. It just depends on your own preference. This recipe is ideal for the average person that really just want to make a quick dinner. This will get done within 30 minutes, and I kid you not, it is very easy and to the point. Once your meat is cooked, I am going to toss in my vegetables that I just chopped up, which is my onion, my bell pepper, and my garlic. While that is cooking, I'm gonna let it soak up its flavors, just cook for a little bit on medium heat. I'm going to blend up approximately 4 tomatoes. I'm gonna blend them up with a little bit of tomato paste as well to help out with the color. Some people don't care about the color, but I feel like tomato paste does something to your color, and you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about here in a second. Once your meat is done cooking, you're gonna grab a paper towel and just absorb all of the grease or the meat juice, whatever it is at the bottom. If you want to keep it in there, that's on you, but I like to take it out. And guys, yes, you saw it. You saw me put Haitian rum inside of the pot, and take it from me, guys, this is iconic. Okay, I shouldn't even be sharing my secret. I should be putting in the recipe book, but I'm giving it to you for free. Pour a little bit inside of the pot because it's gonna really wake up your flavors. And once you allow that to deglaze the flavor on the bottom of your pot, you're gonna add in that blended tomatoes that you just did. And I don't know if you see the difference. My pot of chili was very light before I added some more paste. This is the aftermath of me adding some more tomato paste. It just gives it that rich, nice color. And yes, guys, I'm not about to debate. Beans go inside of my chili, okay? Any chili that I'm making for my family, beans go inside of it. So I'm using black beans, red kidney beans, and I'm using pinto beans. I'm gonna let that cook for a little bit. Then I'm gonna toss in my beef broth. I use about half of a 5-ounce bottle of beef broth, beef bone broth to be exact. Then I'm gonna toss in some thyme, let that cook for a little bit. I'm gonna just close the pot and let it do its thing until I work on this cornbread. And guys, you want to see how I made my cornbread. It's probably the first time you've ever seen cornbread being made this way, but here's a trick to it, right? We're starting off with 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Notice that I leveled off my top. I am using exactly 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Then I'm gonna go in with exactly 1 cup of cornmeal, just cornmeal, not any flour, nothing self-rising. It's just like fine cornmeal. And make sure you use the yellow if you're looking for that cornbread color. I personally like my cornbread to be on the yellower side, but that's up to you, okay guys? And I would highly recommend that you use the finely grained cornmeal, okay? I'm also gonna go in with 1 tablespoon of baking powder along with 3/4 cup of light brown sugar. I'm also gonna crack me 3 eggs on the side. The recipe calls for 2 large eggs, but what I did was use 2 large eggs and 1 extra egg yolk. I also added 1 teaspoon, guys, of baking soda. This is me looking at my recipe to make sure that I got everything. Because when you're baking and you really want something to come out very nicely, you want to make sure that you take your time and you got the recipe correctly. So, you guys just saw me go over to my stove to preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And now I am combining all of my dry ingredients. I just told you what my dry ingredients were. It was the 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of fine cornmeal, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 cup of light brown sugar, okay? Yes, you need sugar. You need sugar. Now we're gonna work on our wet ingredients, which was the 2 large egg and 1 extra yolk. Guys, I am using coconut milk. Do you understand me? I am using coconut milk. I'm not using buttermilk. I'm not using any kind of whole milk, okay? This is plant-based friendly if you're on that kind of diet. So what I'm doing is I used 1 cup of coconut milk, and my secret ingredient, you'll probably never hear this again unless you try my recipe, is also adding 1 cup of coconut yogurt. 1 cup of coconut yogurt. So I combine everything, and then I also added 1/2 cup of melted butter. I alternated between my yogurt, milk, and my egg with the butter. And if you notice, I showed you how thick my batter was. I'm not making pound cake here, so I don't want it too thin. I'm sorry, too thick. So what I did was take my time to thin it out a little bit. Just play with the recipe. I added another 1/4 cup of coconut milk because you don't want it to be too thick. You don't want it to be too dense. And I also added vanilla to taste, just a little tip of vanilla. I put it in the oven and it baked for about 25 minutes. Took it out. I loved this beautiful color, and then I went in with my butter and a little bit of honey on the top. Guys, I also added some honey to my batter. I didn't measure. I just went with my heart. Some people don't want it to be too sweet. It actually was not too sweet at all. I like to do very balanced, and my butter had salt in it as well, so I didn't add any salt to my recipe. I cut this down into sizes. I love the edges because, oh my gosh, that brown piece is probably the best part of your cornbread. And it was so moist. You know it's good when it's cold and it's still good. It's still moist. But guys, if this cornbread don't have your wife or your husband dancing around, or yourself, oh my gosh, this cornbread was so hot. It was so nice. It was so fresh. My kids were behind the camera waiting for their piece as well. And my husband didn't realize that I caught him in the camera dancing. But I'm telling you, this cornbread is a must try. It's a must try, and make sure you measure out properly. Now that we're done with our cornbread, we're going back to our chili that has been simmering on low heat this whole time while we've been cooking our cornbread, okay? This is the end result of our chili. Guys, make sure you're tasting your dish as you go on to make sure you're getting all of your recipes, all of your measurements proper, how you want it, okay? Because that's what matters. We're doing everything that we want. I'll admit that I did add a little bit of barbecue sauce, nothing too crazy because I didn't want like a sweet cornbread and then an extra sweet chili. So yeah, I garnished my dish with jalapeno peppers, cilantro, some smoked Vermont cheddar cheese, a little bit of sour cream, and to finish it off, I added my cornbread. This is your iconic winter, fall, cold night supper, okay? This is the ideal comfort dish. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and come back for more recipes like this one. Love you guys, and thank you so much for watching this far, and share with a friend, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.